Milan, this is a continuation of the previous video about canned range. We will be focusing on VAT. Here you are told that VAT is calculated at 15%. Year-end 2022, the following transactions were extracted from the accounting records of Kent Range for the year ended 31st of August 2022. The business owes SARS 28,110 for VAT, and that is just an example. You need to check whether the transactions that follow, are they going to increase VAT output? Remember, VAT output, it is VAT on income that must be paid over to SARS. So it's basically VAT that we are just a middleman. We just collecting money from customers, VAT money from customers and paying it over to SARS, and that's what VAT output is. So it's still owed to SARS. VAT output, it is a liability. On the other hand, VAT input, it is an asset. It results from VAT that we have already paid, that we are allowed to claim back from SARS. And it is normally on expenses or assets that we purchased. Okay, now when you read number one, I prefer to say VAT output, calculate VAT on income. Any income that you earn, VAT on it will be VAT output. And VAT input is VAT on all expenses. So whenever you come across an expense, as long as it's not VAT exempt or it's not zero rated, you will calculate VAT. Then the type of VAT you're going to calculate on that expense will be VAT input, because we can always claim it back from SARS. Claim input. Output is what needs to be paid. It goes out to SARS. Input comes into the business. We can claim it from SARS. We have already paid it. We can claim it from SARS. Okay, let's read the first one. It says that we sold goods to the value of 4,700 exclusive for cash. And they gave us basically we sold these goods for 4,700 exclusive for VAT. So you will calculate VAT on that, and VAT on that will be calculated at 15%. It will be 15 divided by 100 because it's exclusive of VAT. And the VAT amount will be 705. Know that we sold goods, so that will be on income. It will be income increases VAT output, which is what we were already owing SARS. That's why I'm showing it without brackets. Let's go to number two. What does number two say? Number two says that we settled an account with the supplier. We settled an account with the supplier by paying 327,750 after a 5% discount was received. So this is a net payment after we received a discount. We paid the supplier 327,750. Note that when we bought these goods, I don't know whether we're using the invoice basis or the cash basis, but I'm assuming we're using the invoice basis. When we received that invoice, we calculated VAT input on it. And we calculated VAT input on 100% of the invoice. And since we are given a discount and we only will pay 95%, we need to reduce our VAT input, and the reduction of VAT input will result in VAT output. But first, I need to find out the 5%. I want 5 and I'm given 95%. So all I'm going to do, because that's 327,750, it is 95%. I didn't pay 100% of what I was owing. I only paid 95%. So I was owing 100%, but I don't want 100%. I just want 5% discount. Note that discount received is income, which also goes back to this definition I've put up here, that VAT on income will be VAT output. Let's calculate it quickly. I'll first find 5% of the original invoice, which is 17,250. Now, this is the discount amount. Discount amount, the fact that we have paid for it, we have paid inclusive of VAT. We pay inclusive of VAT. That's why we are allowed to claim it back from SARS, because whoever we bought the goods from, they took the whole money and they are going to pay it over to SARS. I hope that makes sense. And when they paid over to SARS, we are allowed to claim it back from SARS. And what we're going to do is to take that 17,250 times it by 15 divided by 115, because it's already inclusive of VAT. So you always divide by 115 if the amount is inclusive of VAT. If it is exclusive of VAT, you divide by 100. Now, when you find 15% of that 17,250 exclusive of VAT, inclusive of VAT, you will get a VAT amount of 2,250. And this will increase VAT output because it's on discount received, or it reduces VAT input. Well, it's the same, it'll have the same results. Let's go to the next one, which is number 3. What does number 3 say? Number 3 says that a data return goods that originally cost 1,215. Stop right there. When we issued an invoice to this data, we calculated VAT output. Now, here we are given the amount exclusive of VAT. When they return goods, know that VAT output must be reduced by the selling price of goods returned. Here they give us the cost price. So we will first have to find the selling price by multiplying that cost price of 1,250 by 160 divided by 100. And then they continue and say that the data was given a 7% trade discount. So we calculated VAT on 100%. And the fact that the data was given a trade discount, we cannot calculate VAT on the 160%. We have to calculate it on the, it will be 93% of 160%. I hope I'm making sense there. We will not earn income, 100% income of that, which is 160%. We'll only earn 93% of that 160%. All right, let me just put it in writing. So maybe when I put it in writing, it will make sense to you. Firstly, I'm going to show you how the markup works. So sales will be 160. They said on cost, so cost will always be at 100. Gross profit will be 60. Multiply by what you want, divide by what you're given. We were given the cost price of 1,250. I will multiply by 160 because I want sales, which is my income, and divide by 100 because I was given 100% cost, okay? And I will get my sales value, which was 2,000. But of that 2,000, I cannot calculate VAT output. I didn't calculate VAT output on that 2,000. I only calculated VAT output on the income I earned, and I only earned 93% of 2,000. And once I have done that, it will give me my VAT. I will multiply that by 15 divided by 100. The reason why I'm multiplying by 15 divided by 100, you were told that that 1,250 was exclusive of VAT anyway. So when you calculated the markup, you didn't include VAT. That's why we have to include the VAT. But we include VAT on the 93% because we only earned income of 93%. Trade discount reduces the income that we were supposed to earn. However, that would have been VAT output. In this case, it can't be VAT output because this data returned those goods. So we have to cancel that VAT output by recognizing VAT input of 279. Hope that makes sense. All right, this was 2021 May exam, grade 12 IEB. Okay, please try this one out. You will need to prepare the following and check the next video for solutions. All right, hold on.